the people that believe Gypsy Rose, whenever she says, Nick forced me to have sex with him, it was all his idea, I didn't want it, I'm gonna need y'all to come to the front. Because Nick sent this message to his best friend, who he also called his sis. And he says, yeah, maybe she does worship me. There was times I wondered it, but she really was asking me to really grab her. I mean, a real. Maybe the love she has for me is way deeper than she has ever been able to show ever before. And Allie, being the only person with sense, or some sense, says, oh, I don't know if I'd ask anybody to me, LOL, that sounds scary. And Nick says, I know it sounds crazy, but she was asking me to. She was being seductive with it, as if she was trying to get me to really do it. Also, this was in 2014, just so people know the date. Also, we've heard the stories on how Dee Dee was so mad at the movie theater, right? Here's another message with him and his best friend, aka his sis. And she says, how did meeting Gypsy go? And he said, surprisingly well. And Allie says, what did her mom say? He says, she was very nice and was very talkative too. Allie says, that is good news. And he says, yup. She says, I'm really happy for you, bro.
There's a lot going on with Gypsy Rose Blanchard lately. And honestly, the inconsistencies are giving me whiplash. So first things first, let's talk about the baby situation, because this is the part that's got everyone buzzing right now. Gypsy and Ken have been posting little Aurora all over the place, right? Like full face reveals, Mardi Gras parade pics where they're literally holding up signs saying it's her, parading her around like it's no big deal. And girl, people are calling her out hard for this, because remember when she was screaming from every rooftop, I'm not posting my baby on social media. We got what we wanted, now back off. Yeah, that energy was loud. But now, she's doing the complete opposite. Posting the baby's face multiple times, recent ones included. And low-key, a lot of folks online are saying it's for the views, the engagement, the clout, the money, whatever you want to call it. They see it as her amping it up on purpose, because showing the baby pretty much guarantees clicks and attention.
Does Gypsy Rose actually have custody of her child? Because apparently, word on the street, as of this morning, she has visitation rights, and that is it. She gets weekly visitations. I have it on good record from someone who lives on the bayou, a street over from Gypsy, that she does not have custody of the baby. A silver car with state tags, government property, aka a carnage, whatever that word is, I'm assuming CPS, drops the baby off 3 times a week from 8 to 5, and someone at Rod and Christie's has to be home. There have been several instances where Aurora was put back into the car and driven away because Rod and Christie weren't home. She's never outside playing with the baby. They have to bring her inside for supervision. She's reportedly on a CPS case plan, and from what I've been told, visits are expected to drop to once a week now that the baby is over a year old, per Louisiana CPS policy. The ever-changing baby theory is real. The Blanchards are a huge family with a lot of babies, and she uses whatever baby is around to take pictures and post them to prove that she has the baby. And yes, she is back at the bayou living with Rod and Christie.
And here's a thing that hits different. She literally accused her mom Dee Dee of exploiting her for money, for attention, for everything. Like, that was the whole narrative she pushed. But now, people are pointing out, okay, but you're doing something pretty similar, except on a way bigger scale, because you have this huge platform, this reality TV vibe, this internet fame that Dee Dee never had. So it's giving major hypocrisy vibes. And I'm not saying it's true or not, I'm just saying the internet is dragging this inconsistency like crazy, and honestly, it's hard to ignore.
Everyone loves Gypsy Rose. It's Gypsy Rose Blanchard, Gypsy Rose. Everyone here loves Gypsy Rose. Everyone.
This is Gypsy Rose Blanchard, Ken, and their baby Aurora. Now, there was a time not too long ago that Gypsy Rose Blanchard was shouting from the rooftops,
leave me the fuck alone.
That she will not share the baby on social media.
I'm not gonna post on social media.
But hasn't done the complete opposite. She has shared her baby's face several times. One is very recent where Ken showed the baby's face at this Mardi Gras parade. Not only are they parading the baby around at the parade, there's a sign telling people it's her. People are outright accusing Gypsy Rose for showing more and more of the baby's face to outright profit on IG. She already knows that showing the baby is almost guaranteed views.
Okay, but wait, speaking of inconsistencies, let's talk about her YouTube channel real quick. She updated it to something like, Magic in the Chaos with Ken, Aurora, and Gypsy, or whatever the exact wording is. And this one person was like, hold up. Because apparently there was this hardcore Gypsy defender leaving wild comments on pages, super rude to other people, but ride or die for her. And the username, Magic in the Chaos. Same exact phrase. Coincidence? Maybe. But then, when you look at the typing style, the energy, it felt very on brand. And even when someone pointed out there were some reposts that looked anti-Gypsy, the theory is she did that on purpose to throw people off, so no one would suspect it's her burner. I mean, come on. The internet detectives are connecting dots, and it's looking sus. Now let's switch gears because there's more. We all remember how Gypsy used to talk about wanting privacy, wanting to be left alone after everything went down. Y'all got what you wanted, now leave us alone. But girl, the way things are playing out now feels like the total opposite of that energy.
That is good news. And he says, yup. She says, I'm really happy for you, bro. And then he goes on to tell her how him and Gypsy had sex for the first time. He says, I did take Gypsy's virginity. I'm not fully sure if I did, but from how she was reacting, it seemed like I did. And this conversation continues. I'll just let you pause right here and read for a second. And because he's questioning if she was a virgin or not, he says, I did it with my sis, and I went all the way in as it started to get closer to rock hard. Just as I went all the way in, she gasped like it took her breath away. Does it sound like she's being truthful? And I did pop it? Talking about her cherry. He additionally elaborates and says, now I did use a condom when we did this, and the condom was pretty bloody. I just remembered this. Does a guy's D always get blood on it? Whether it is the condom or the D in general when he deflowers someone? Sorry, I didn't realize that word wasn't covered up. Anyways, I found it interesting that he's trying to figure out if Gypsy was lying to him, if she was a virgin or not, you know? I also found this message from 2014 where Allie says, okay, who changed their mind? I'm really confused now. And Nick says, Gypsy did. And Allie says, okay, about killing her mom? So y'all, we've always wondered if Allie knew. Allie knew.
And then there's the whole Ken timeline drama. So Gypsy said in one interview that Ken reached out basically the day she got out of prison, like texted her stepmom right away. But then in another clip, Ken saying, nah, he waited until she left Ryan. He didn't sneak in while she was married. He didn't take anybody's wife. She chose to leave Ryan on her own. So which one is it? Did he swoop in immediately after she was released? Or did he respectfully wait until she was single? The stories don't fully line up, and people are side-eyeing that hard. Oh, and don't get me started on the old Facebook stuff. Back in April 2015, so like over a year before everything happened, Gypsy posted on her Emma Rose account, I never wanted the choice between two people I love. And Nicholas Godejohns comments under it, sweetheart, neither of us did. But you know who you love and who you worship, and as I've taught you, worship is so much stronger than just loving. Chills, literal chills. Obviously, we don't know exactly what that was about, but looking back, knowing everything, it feels dark. People are speculating it was her torn between her mom and Nick, and we know how that ended. Super creepy in hindsight.
So yesterday it did not look like this. She has the top part in the green color and it says magic into chaos again because it didn't say that before. And now she has Gypsy Dash Rose and Ken Urker. Seems like she's really pushing for that Urker last name. Anyways, let me show you what her little thing under her push to get people to subscribe said on her IG post. So this was posted about 1 hour ago. Gypsy says, if you like our content here, you'll love our YouTube. Instagram and TikTok limit video length, but YouTube lets us share full vlog style videos, travel, family life, updates, and all the real moments. Follow us here, subscribe to our YT channel so you don't miss anything. Magic in the chaos always. Stay tuned for great vlogs ahead. I'm curious if ChatGPT wrote that, but I'm really curious about her podcast. What happened to her podcast? Like, I had this discussion, like I said yesterday on a post I made, what's going on with YouTube, because it was changed yesterday, and now this. So, guess we'll have to wait and see.
And then there's all the old messages between Nick and other people that have come out. Like conversations with this girl Allie, where he's talking about Gypsy in ways that... yeah. He says stuff about her letting him take his anger out on her, saying it's fair because she pissed him off. Talking about how she wanted it rough, wanted it to feel real. Even using words like she was asking for grape in a real way. And he's telling Allie... maybe she does worship me. Meanwhile, Gypsy has said in interviews that he forced her, made her do things. But these messages paint a picture where it sounds like she was encouraging that dynamic, telling him it was okay, pushing for it to seem non-consensual when it wasn't. Again, alleged, all from documents that are public now, but it definitely flips the script on what a lot of people thought they knew.
I don't know if anybody has noticed, but Ken Urker already has his cameos basically turned off. Let me show you and let me tell you why and exactly what I think he's doing. So as you can see, it no longer shows the $30 fee, and below me it says follow to join the wait list. And then It gives you a message to send Ken a message for $4.99. Not for a cameo, but for a message. So, in my opinion, what I think Ken is doing, on that screenshot, it shows that it is an intentional setup, not something accidental, not purely demand-driven like Ken is Mr. Popular or something. When someone marks themselves as unavailable on Cameo, the platform automatically pushes a waitlist, which doesn't necessarily mean he's like booked solid. It just means he doesn't want to fulfill video requests right now. At the same time, though, the option to send him a message for $4.99 is a deliberate choice that signals he's willing to receive messages, but only paid ones, using a fee as a filter rather than customer service, because it reduces intrusive or media phishing questions, probably, I'm assuming. And it creates controlled channel engagement, where it's controlled by Ken. If Ken gives the option to ignore the messages, which Cameo does do that, he doesn't even have to open it, even if you pay. It comes off as strategic, and it's not illegal, but it's clearly all about monetizing and controlling engagement while still remaining publicly unavailable. How ironic. But that really reads less like overwhelming demand and more like selective paywalled interaction for money instead, as we all expect Ken, Gypsy's boyfriend, to do for money. What do y'all think?
Also, people are wondering if part of why Gypsy acts like she can't stand Nick now is because she found out he was talking to other women the whole time. Like, he was preaching loyalty, but apparently had girls in different area codes. And supposedly her lawyer or someone told her about it. She was talking to other guys too, so it's not like she was innocent, but still. Messy.
A couple of things have become abundantly clear to me with Nicholas Godejohns. When Gypsy was not his only girl, honey. He was talking all that loyalty shit and had hoes in different area codes. Hoes. I can't help but wonder how Gypsy feels about that. I also wonder if that's why she resents Nick so much and why she acts like she hates him so much when she gets on this damn internet. I mean, all these documents we have, her attorney has, so it's not like I bet money old Mike Stanfield told her, you know he was talking to other women. I mean, not that it mattered. Gypsy was talking to other men too, honey. She was talking to other men. She talked to Dan the whole time. But I want to hop into a few of the messages. These get interesting. We're not going in any kind of rhyme or reason. We are hopping around and just looking at some of the ones that I thought were interesting.
Now, the biggest rumor floating around right now, and girl, take this with a whole grain of salt because it's word on the street stuff from Reddit and people claiming local knowledge, is that Gypsy doesn't actually have full custody of Aurora. Apparently it's just visitation, like supervised visits a few times a week, dropped off by a state car, and someone at Rod and Christie's house has to be there the whole time. There's talk of times the baby got put back in the car and driven away because no one was home. And then when the baby got older, visits supposedly dropped to once a week per Louisiana policy. Plus, this wild claim that the Blanchards have a big family with lots of babies, so she's just using whichever one is around for photos to post and make it look like she has her daughter all the time. And look, I can't confirm any of that. It's just what people are saying online. And some of it lines up with why the baby sometimes looks different in pics, or why we don't see a ton of everyday mom and baby content. But legally, people are pointing out that, as someone convicted of murder, getting full custody would be really hard, especially if it went to court against Ken, assuming he could pass a drug test. So, if it's true, it would explain a lot. But again, alleged, rumor, not proven.
Starting with this one right here. You gotta come in close so I can see, friend. First off, these messages are between Nicholas Godejohns and Allie Noble. Allie is like his BFF, but he calls her sis a lot. So, right here, this one that he sent to Allie. So yes, apparently she is letting me take it out on her. When she pisses me off, she is letting me take it out on her sexually. I guess she is saying it is fair for me to do that after her pissing me off. If she believes that, I'll go along with it, since I guess she would rather have me feeling pleasure than being pissed at her. Notice he's saying things like she is letting me, she would rather. He is saying it is fair for me to do this. So it seems like she was wanting him to be aggressive towards her. And you know, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, Gypsy has told us, I'm a planner. Now, I wonder if her doing all this was she trying to make him look violent, aggressive, like he wanted to hurt her. In reality, she was telling him, no, you can do this. It's fine. I want you to take it out on me. It's actually fair since I pissed you off. Pretty insane, isn't it? But let's keep going. Then we have this one right here. Yeah, maybe she does worship me. There were times I wondered it, but she literally was asking me to grape her. I mean, a real grape. Maybe the love she has for me is way deeper than she ever has been able to show before. The fact he is telling Allie, like, no, you're not understanding. Like, she isn't wanting it to be some easy thing. She wants it to be real. She wants this to seem real. Like, I am really taking advantage of her against her will. Now, old Jipperoo has told us, oh, no, he made me, he forced me. Yeah, these messages show a completely different side of things for Nick and Gypsy. And well, Allie had a normal kind of response. You know, she's like, oh, no, I don't know if I would ask anyone to actually me. That sounds scary, and it is scary. Being taken advantage of against your will, being held down, having things done to you against your fucking will is scary.
Ugh, and the content, like, no way, it's cringy and shocking all at once. Reports say there's talk about, crazy stuff like if they had kids, teaching them to keep secrets. I mean, honestly, I cannot even wrap my head around that. And she allegedly explains it all matter-of-factly, like, oh, I'll tell her when she's old enough, but not at 7 or whatever. Oof. Real talk. That's the kind of thing that makes you pause and go, what in the world? And apparently, she's got this whole persona going, calling herself something like Demona or whatever, who's this powerful figure that gets others to do the dirty work for her. Doesn't hurt people herself, but manipulates them into it. Low-key sounds a lot like how the whole situation with her mom went down, right? Like, allegedly getting Nicholas all hyped up to commit the act while she stays in the background. But wait, there's more that contradicts her story.
A lot of you may have also noticed that there's so many weird instances where, you know, the baby looks different, or we're questioning if there even is a baby, or whatever the case may be. But if this is the case, then it would actually make a lot more sense than there actually not being a baby. You know what I mean? But, I mean, I can imagine, per Louisiana law, as a convicted unaliver, you can't have custody. If her and Ken were to have went to court, he would have won. He would have gotten custody, no doubt, if he was able to pass a rug test, that is. So, I don't know, guys. What do y'all think? I honestly kind of believe it. It's very believable, but who knows?
Gypsy's gone on interviews after getting out, saying stuff like Nicholas was the one threatening to, assault any kids they might have, and that she broke things off because of it. But these videos? Apparently, it's her bringing up that kind of talk, agreeing to it, even planning around it. And another lie that's getting called out. She said she'd never been to the beach, but there's footage of her there, recording her mom and everything, looking all happy and free. Dee Dee's right there in the clip sometimes, so it's not like Gypsy was totally isolated. She had access to tech, was sending these back and forth with Nicholas. No rush, no fear. Yeah, and speaking of freedom, girl, these videos paint a picture where Dee Dee wasn't this super controlling helicopter mom at all. Like, Gypsy's allegedly undressing in one of them, in broad daylight, not even trying to hide.
So, Gypsy and Nick were both cheating on each other during their relationship. This is not a surprise, because the way that they texted each other is not a surprise. They wanted a threesome. They wanted another girl in the bedroom. I'll show you proof. So, Nick knew a lot more than you think he knew with his sexuality. He told Gypsy he didn't mind bringing a girl into the relationship as long as she was a bi, because that would make it okay. And if they were going to bring a girl into the bedroom, Gypsy says it was only to do the nasty with, not to have any relationship with, right? Well, she loves to egg on Nick and push his button. Meanwhile, it's Demona that is doing these dirty things. It's not Gypsy. I'm not going to read the text message, but you can see it up here because it has words that I cannot say.
The living room's got bags and stuff everywhere, just normal house vibes, and she's filming away like she owns the place. Reports suggest she could do pretty much whatever, even stealing baby clothes and hoarding them, showing them off in videos, or getting mail with, adult toys and lingerie. If she had that much leeway as a grown woman, why not just leave? Instead, allegedly, she stuck around, played mind games with Nicholas, groomed him into this dominant fantasy world, and pushed him toward the crime. Some folks are even theorizing, and this is just rumor, okay, that Dee Dee might have already been gone before Nicholas showed up, and he just thinks he did it all because of how she messed with his head. Now, let's talk about how this ties into her personality, because honestly, after all this, people are side-eyeing her hard. Like narcissists, right? From what I've heard about them, and yeah, this is based on general reports and stuff, they feel shame, but it's so intense they just flip it into blame. blame you for making them do whatever bad thing, inflate their own ego to cope, exaggerate how much of a victim they are.
It has mexual activity, meaning Gypsy would say stuff like, well, if we're only going to have bedroom activities with this person, what happens if I flirt with her? Like, she pushes his buttons so hard. But my friend Audrey, she also brought up some interesting facts, or I think it was somebody in the live that commented something. What if they talk, or Nick talks through personalities because he doesn't know how to express his emotions as himself? So he talks through a different personality. And we can see that he was talking as Victor with his other girlfriends. So Victor wasn't new. He always had Victor. And Gypsy always had her multiple personalities. So that's why they matched together perfectly.
Apparently, Gypsy's done that a bunch, like with her ex Ryan, using his stuff against him or whatever. She never really showed remorse for what happened to her mom. In fact, reports say she's even angry she didn't do more. No shame, just rage or pride, and probably blaming everyone else now that this is out. Like, oh, it's your fault for digging this up or something. I mean, low-key, it makes sense why she's not hiding her face. She thrives on the attention, good or bad.
I mean, we could see here she was sending him multiple pictures and obviously multiple videos. And I have seen recent text messages that Nick sent to his past girlfriends or ex-girlfriends, and he is very vocal on what he wants and what he needs. And I feel like Gypsy just wasn't giving him that. Like, she wasn't being as vocal, because she would text him like not even a short paragraph. It would be like a short sentence, and he'd be like, I need more explanation. That's why I don't find it odd that Nick had other girlfriends, because he graduated high school. Even though he had special classes, he still had a better involvement and education and social life than Gypsy did. And I'm not trying to say that Gypsy was held captive in her house, because she was not. I'm just saying he grew up knowing and interacting with more people than Gypsy.
Okay, so here's the thing. Gypsy has always said the media would never turn on her, that her story as the ultimate victim would hold up forever. But girl, listen, that's shifting fast. Multiple big news sources are running with these releases, highlighting the parts that make her look way more involved in the twisted chats than just being manipulated. And apparently, it's all tied to concerns that popped up about her kid's safety and some medical docs proving she has this real genetic thing going on. Low-key, it feels like the narrative is cracking a bit, you know? She served her time, owns her part, but these old videos are painting a picture of someone who was super into performing different characters, dressing up in wigs, acting out scenes, all while supposedly being so controlled and isolated. And speaking of wigs and hair, okay, but wait, I've been thinking about this shaved head story a lot lately, because something just doesn't fully add up for me. For years, the main tea was that Dee Dee kept Gypsy's head buzzed to sell the leukemia lie, make her look sick for the sympathy and perks, right?
It's truthfully, I don't want a guy that's huge, because that would freak me out. If I wanted that, I'd go with my friend that's like 10.5 inches, and I'm like, oh, that's crazy, that's freaky, I don't want to give you. Even though he offered, and I don't want it with him because I don't love him, nor do I want his. It's too big. You know, there's too big, perfect, small, or too small. And you're in that perfect range for me. So,
This video was sent to Nicholas Godejohn right before the unaliving. In this video, we see Gypsy Rose kind of planting a seed to Nicholas Godejohn that I have other options. So you are lucky to be with me. You need to do what I need you to do if you want to continue being with me. That's 100% what that was. Also being self-righteous. Oh, I don't do it with him because I don't love him. Gypsy Rose, I have these high standards and you're the one that I pick. And then she does this weird type of reassurance at the end.
Now, shifting to the medical stuff, because this is where it gets really questionable. Gypsy's been saying for years that her mom forced dentists to pull perfectly healthy teeth, telling them they were crumbling or fragile, and that's why she ended up with all those extractions and chrome caps. She even mentioned in interviews reviewing her records and being like, it's mysterious why they'd remove good teeth. But hold up. When people actually dig into those dental records, it's a different picture. Apparently, the notes show exams, x-rays, documented cavities, poor hygiene, gingivitis, impacted teeth causing real pain. Like, one visit she reportedly complained about sensitivity herself, not just her mom speaking for her. And stainless steel crowns. Those go on decayed or weakened teeth that need support. You can't just slap them on crumbling ones because there's no foundation. Dentists aren't pulling healthy teeth based on a parent's word alone. They follow actual findings. So no, it wasn't random or unnecessary like she's claiming. There was real dental issues going on, probably worsened by meds, diet, lack of proper care, all that chaos from the alleged abuse.
To a lot of us, we would see right through that. However, Nicholas Godejohn has level 2 autism. People with autism are very literal, and he takes what she is saying as the gospel. Remember, he loves her. He's in complete limerence with her. He believes the only way that they can be together is if he unalives her mother. We're seeing in a lot of these videos how much Gypsy Rose was absolutely in control of this whole thing. Now, I'm not saying Nicholas Godejohn is not guilty. Believe me, I think he is, and I think he's exactly where he needs to be. However, I do think he should have had his autism taken into consideration, which was not. Maybe a lesser sentence would have been more appropriate. Those are just my thoughts. That's a whole other discussion. But we're really seeing a side of Gypsy Rose that she does not want people to see. That's why I'm so grateful that these videos were FOIA'd and they're out there so people have more of an idea who Gypsy Rose really is and can 100% see the person that was behind the unaliving of her mother.
But framing it as purely her mom's lies, that's where the inconsistencies hit hard, you know? As more records surface, it's uncovering layers she hasn't fully owned up to. Honestly, I feel like this trademark move and the podcast launch are her trying to pivot, reclaim some control after all the scrutiny. She's talking big about growth and intentions, but with hundreds of alleged lies and contradictions floating around, from the relationship with Nick to the medical history to what really went down that night, it's hard not to side-eye. Like, why announce protecting your voice if you're not ready to address the tough questions?
Not one single time did Gypsy say she was abused. Not one single time in that interrogation video did she raise her voice and speak up. She made Nick lie and tell his parents a story saying that she was living in a homeless shelter and she was having a bad situation with her mother because they weren't getting along. That was the story she wanted Nick to lie about to his parents so she could stay with them until, of course, she found her place to live. Here is the proof right here from the Waukesha report from when they arrested Gypsy and Nick. It says that she stated she was told that her, Gypsy, and Gypsy's mother did not get along and that she was staying in a homeless shelter and that is why she came to Waukesha area. She stated she had no idea what the long-term goal was, but for now, it was just a place to stay. Now, if you go back and listen to Nick's interrogation video, he had told himself that he had to stick to the story. He was telling himself over and over and over again that he stick to the story, got to stick to the story. They're burning the path of you know what.
Okay, so the big question floating around right now is, can Gypsy Rose actually get arrested again? Like, girl, people are out here wondering if there's still a chance for more legal drama after everything she's already been through. And yeah, smash that like button, subscribe, hit notifications so you don't miss when more tea drops. Okay, let's get into it. So, allegedly, from what I've seen floating around online and in some discussions, there's this idea that Gypsy could technically still face federal charges even though she already did her time on the state level for second-degree murder. Here's the thing. She was convicted in Missouri State Court, right? She took that plea deal, served her sentence, got out on parole, and now she's living her life. But apparently, because the feds never charged her back then, some people are saying the door isn't fully closed. The key point people keep bringing up is this thing called the dual sovereignty doctrine. Basically, it means the state and the federal government are like two separate bosses, so they can both go after someone for the same underlying actions without it counting as double jeopardy.
The suspect trail. Okay, so he knew that he had to stick to the story that Gypsy had put in his head. At first, he was like, I was at the hotel, I was getting a drink, and Gypsy was around the corner. Now, then he leads up to saying that he did come to the house and Gypsy handed him the gloves inside the home. It wasn't handed to him outside the home. And they asked him what color the gloves were, and he said a greenish blue. And this is why Gypsy has a hard time telling the truth, because she makes up so many lies and manipulates people into believing what she wants you to believe. She wants you to believe that Nick did the crime. But in my opinion, I think he was the one that did maybe the 4 jabs after Gypsy already did her part, because she claims that I can never do it. And then he says that Gypsy said that she didn't think he could do it. So what's the point? What's the point of manipulating him if you didn't think he could do it? That's when I think that Nick was in the bathroom crying and freaking out because he couldn't do it. I mean, he heard Dee Dee screaming.
But wait, hold up. Her whole defense was, I was perfectly healthy. My mom was making me sick with Munchausen by proxy. So now suddenly you have all these medical needs. Make it make sense. The flip-flopping is insane. And that detective clocked it. He was not letting her manipulate the room. She kept asking for a lawyer, which, smart move, but whew, she needed way more than that. Then there's what Nicholas allegedly said, that she pressured him hard, like arguments, ultimatums. Apparently she told him as long as her mom was alive, she'd never let anyone come between them. Basically, no life, no relationships, no freedom. And he was trying to talk her out of it, suggesting they just run away together. But she insisted her mom had to go. And now she's out here playing victim? Nah, people like that, when you carry that kind of darkness, I don't think you ever really enjoy life. Everything's negative, everything's tainted. She brought a lot of this on herself.
So I think we figured out why Gypsy Rose and Andrea Dunlop became friends all of a sudden. They bonded over the fact that they both sit around talking shit on their families. This is Andrea's brother-in-law, and honey, he's done with being silent. He has let Andrea pop her gums for forever, and he's done. Now, this is the husband to the sister that was accused of Munchausen by proxy, and the claims are unfounded, by the way. He says, I can no longer let my sister-in-law smear my wife. He makes lots of claims that aren't true. Munchausen by proxy did not ruin her family. As her sister, my wife does not have it. There was an investigation initiated from my mother-in-law, Andrea's mom. We cut ties with my wife's family for our safety and sanity.
So, there's this clip going around from an interview with Christy, you know, Rod's wife now, and she's talking about Dee Dee. The question was basically, did Dee Dee like you? And Christy says, oh yeah, when Rod first introduced us, Dee was super nice, never rude, everything was fine. Until Rod and I got together. Then suddenly things changed. Girl, come on. Of course Dee didn't like her after that. Allegedly, Christy was acting like Rod's best friend the whole time, but low-key, she wanted him. The second Dee was out of the picture, boom, she's with Rod. Like, why else would Dee turn cold? And honestly, if Rod and Christy were such good friends first, why didn't he go for her before Dee? Clearly, he wanted Dee, not Christy. But after everything happened, Christy just slid right in like she was waiting. Oof, that's messy.
Years later, my father-in-law, Andrea's dad, made more false allegations that caused harm to our family and especially our children. I found it suspicious that Andrea was writing a book about Munchausen by proxy, and the false allegations were an attempt to increase book sales. I'm gonna tell you, I've been thinking that Andrea had Gypsy Rose on that damn podcast because she knows Gypsy Rose's name is well known. I don't put this shit right here past her either, making some claims to boost her damn book sales. I see you, girl. Andrea says maybe she'll hear this and come home. That makes zero sense. My wife is not missing and is a great mom. Andrea does not love or care for her sister or our kids. After going through dependency court and the judge ruling in our favor, NBC covered the story. Andrea contacted a police detective to try and cause further harm for our family. We have attempted to move on, but can no longer stay silent. Why does the instigator get to be the victim? Andy, we feel you. We feel you, honey. We've been saying the same thing about Gypsy. That saying, you know what it is. Birds of a feather fucking flock together, honey. Gypsy Rose and Andrea latched on to each other because that's what they are. Fucking leeches. Why does the instigator get to be the victim and slander people on a podcast? Honey, or was it because a bad decision was made years ago and some people can't move on?
And then there's this phone call from jail where Gypsy's talking to Christy, all sweet and innocent. Gypsy's like, tell Daddy I'm innocent. I love you all so much. And Christy goes, I'll be your mommy, baby. Like, what? You just lost one mom in the worst way possible, and you're already lining up a replacement, thanking her for stepping in. That's so logical, right? Ugh, I cannot. It just feels like Gypsy was ready to swap one mom for another without missing a beat. No grief, no nothing. Let Christy and her delusions sit with that, because we're moving on to the real receipts on Gypsy. Okay, so apparently there's this video Gypsy sent to Nicholas, showing him Dee Dee's room. The place is a total mess, clothes everywhere, and Gypsy's walking him through it like a tutorial. She's pointing at the bed, explaining exactly where to stand and how to do it. Pure evil vibes. But let Gypsy tell it. She's innocent. She's like, he did the actual killing, not me. I can't kill anyone. I don't identify as a murderer. Then in another clip she admits, I do have an evil streak. I can torture somebody.
Tell you what, everything he describes is the same way Gypsy is. Same way, slandering a mofo, slandering the victim. Now y'all know why Andrea in that podcast said, a lot of the times these things go undetected, even when the cops are involved. Why? Because her sister didn't have much housing by proxy. Shit didn't play out the way it was supposed to for Andrea. It kind of makes you wonder, is Andrea just like Gypsy, making up fucking false ass shit to garner attention, to give herself a storyline for her fucking podcast and her books? I don't know, but I find it hard to believe that Andrea's sister had much housing by proxy when the husband is sitting there going, you're a liar. That's probably what they bonded over, sitting around lying on their damn family and shit. That's just my opinion. Look, I got that screenshot from the Gypsy Rose Snark group, and if you're not over there following them, dude, what are you even doing? They legit have everything you can think of on that damn page. It's like an archive. Hell, I got that screenshot from over there. Make sure you go give them some follow, give them some love.
Girl, make it make sense. She knows deep down what people say about her is true. She's not a good person, and it eats at her. Remember those computer searches Dee Dee was doing, allegedly looking into places to send Gypsy away. Gypsy knew about it. She even said in an old interview, sometimes my mom wants to leave me or kick me out. She doesn't want me anymore because I get difficult. Difficult? Honey, you were stealing her pills, stealing money, acting like you ran the house, even shooting her with BB guns. Dee Dee was terrified, living in fear, while Gypsy was in the next room plotting the whole time. Dee had no clue her own daughter was planning to end her. And Gypsy didn't want to go to any facility because she couldn't do whatever she wanted there. She knew she wouldn't fit in, and honestly, her actions scream she needed serious help.
So I've got my beads, I got everything loaded in the car, and so we are ready to go. Do you like the Red Queen, like from Alice in Wonderland? No, I don't think so. Yeah, I think it is.
Did you just hear what Gypsy said? Let me run it back.
Yeah, I think it is.
Gypsy was just on a live talking about how her daughter should have the right to what? Disney. And then you're going to go to the parade and pretend like you don't know who this person is cosplaying. What does that say right there, you guys? Right there. Disney. So why do you think Gypsy proceeds to pretend and act like she is dumb? Is she too scared to say it with her whole chest because of, well, we know. Like, Gypsy, you knew who that was immediately. Stop pretending. And then don't get mad at us when we think that you're pretending.
Overall, there's just a lot of flip-flopping. 1 minute privacy, the next full exposure. 1 minute leave me alone, the next posting everything. 1 minute exploiting was the worst thing ever, the next doing similar things on a bigger stage. And it's making a ton of people question the whole redemption arc. So yeah, that's where things are at right now. Messy, confusing, and honestly, a little frustrating to watch unfold. What do you think? Do you buy any of these rumors? Do you think she's changed, or is it the same patterns? Drop your thoughts below. Tell me where you're watching from, what time it is there, and let's talk about it. Like the video if you're still here, subscribe if you haven't, turn on notifications, and I'll catch you in the next one. Mwah!